Hi YouTube, this is a quick intro tacked onto the front of this video because you can't drop an F-bomb in the first 7 seconds of a YouTube video. And I want to share with you what's going on with the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. So thanks for being patient. Here we go.
I don't think you guys know how fucking bad it is and how deep we are into fascism. They just arrested the mayor of Newark, and we've had someone on the ground all day. And there was a press conference where after a few days, they let the mayor actually go inside the facility just to give a press conference in. And then they let him come out, and they are charging him because he is obstructing ICE by having the press conference they allowed him in for.
So thanks to Climate Revolution, this is how I heard about the story as it was unfolding in Newark, New Jersey yesterday, May 9th. My understanding from the sources I read yesterday, including The Hill, is that Newark Democratic Mayor Ras Baraka held a press conference with the Garden State Congressional delegation, including Reps Bonnie Watson-Coleman, Rob Menendez, and LaMonica McIver. This press conference was held in front of the ICE facility. There had been concerns about the fact that ICE had contracted with a private company, and there was concerns that this private corporation, which was housing people that ICE had abducted, had not allowed inspectors in to make sure the facility was up to code and safe. A number of reports I read said that they weren't allowing the fire marshal to come in and inspect. So yesterday, as this story was developing, what we initially heard was that ICE invited the mayor and his delegation in to tour the facility to be like, no, see, it's fine. They went into the facility, they did their thing, and after they came out, more than 20 ICE agents swarmed the mayor, put their hands on him, also put their hands on the congresswomen, and then eventually arrested Mayor Baraka and charged him with federal trespass, I believe. I'm not going to lie, this is a really bad scene to have ICE agents arresting the mayor of Newark for doing his job. Especially because initially it was looking like entrapment. It was looking like they were allowing him to come onto the property, and then they were targeting him, using that as an excuse to then charge him with trespass. And there's an update on the story, and I want to share it with you in a second. But this is fascist shit, right? This is the Trump regime trying to threaten and intimidate and incarcerate state and local officials. Unlike the bullying and intimidation tactics Trump tried against the governor of Maine, the fact that yesterday he opened up an DOJ investigation, i.e. Attempt at retribution against Letitia James, the open public threat Pam Bondi levied against AOC. This is fascist shit when you are weaponizing the justice system to threaten and intimidate and seek retribution against elected officials who will not fall in line with your illegal doings, your fascist agenda. This is fascist shit. And I think it's important to understand that this is happening because more and more elected officials are more and more aggressively standing up against Trump. So he is escalating because he's scared. The people he thought were going to fall in line, the members of government that he thought were going to buckle and not stand up, they're standing up. They're not tolerating his overreach, his authoritarian tactics. And so he's going to escalate. He's going to lash out. We know that this is a pattern that authoritarians follow. He is desperate to quash any dissent. He is desperate to stop any elected official who wants to protect democracy. So I know that this is all really scary, but this is a pattern we knew was going to play out. Yes, it's happening on a very accelerated pace, and I'm not going to minimize how bad it is. But I think it's important to understand. I saw a number of creators saying that they're really emboldened. They feel very comfortable just doing full-on fascism in broad daylight, and they think that nothing bad will happen to them as a result. And I disagree with that take. I think the reason they are being so desperate and they are ramping up their tactics so quickly is because they are scared of the fact that millions of people are resisting, that more and more elected officials, institutions, businesses are standing up. The escalation of Trump's behavior over the last few days does not, to me, say confidence. It says desperation. But I promised you an update on the situation with the mayor of Newark, and so I want to share with you the Hill's reporting from this morning. I want you to remember that the Trump regime is full of liars. They are called out continuously on their bold, bald-faced lies. They don't care about accuracy. They don't care about truth. They don't care about being fact-checked. And it's so frustrating to see them being quoted in corporate media and not fact-checked at all. Interviews, press releases, statements from this regime are all very much giving Third Reich ministry of propaganda, where you lie and lie and lie until the people believe it. You lie confidently, and you never admit when you have lied. That's what they do. Okay, to the article. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka on Friday reflected on being arrested outside of a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility earlier in the day, arguing he was being targeted after visiting the New Jersey Detention Center with 3 Democratic members of Congress. In that MSNBC interview on Friday night, the mayor said nothing happened for a long, long time, for at least over an hour. And then, after that, they finally told us to leave, and I told him I was leaving. They came outside the gate and arrested me. So he said it looked like it was targeted. He later added that ICE officials, quote, obviously targeted him. I wasn't the only one out there. They came directly to me and tried to arrest me, no one else. And so I honestly believe, I was targeted there. Something not to overlook is the fact that Baraka is a Democrat and he is in the running for New Jersey's upcoming governor's race. Remember what I said about lying liars. Alina Habba, the interim U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey, justified the administration's moves, claiming the mayor, quote, committed trespass and ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove himself from the Delaney Hall ICE detention center. Alina Habba tweeted about it, saying that the mayor had willingly chosen to disregard the law and that will not stand in this state, and that he had been taken into custody. Baraka defended his presence at the facility, saying he was not there to protest, but to participate in a press conference with Garden State congressional delegations, including Reps. Bonnie Watson-Coleman, Rob Menendez, and LaMonica McIver. Watson-Coleman said the trio was there to inspect the facility, not to tour the place. Right, so the members of Congress had a right to be there, and they had a right to inspect the facility as part of their job as members of Congress. But ICE agents got into a back and forth with the lawmakers and ended up arresting the mayor, who later appeared before a magistrate judge. DHS accused a group of protesters, along with Congressman Menendez and Congresswoman Watson-Coleman, of, quote, storming the gate and breaking into the detention facility. So now DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin is saying that the members of Congress should have requested a tour. They would have been accommodated with a tour of the facility, but that they stormed into the detention facility. Rep. Watson-Coleman accused DHS of spreading false information about the Friday incident. This scuffle, during which an ICE agent physically shoved me, occurred after we had entered the Delaney Hall premises, she wrote. We entered the facility, came back out to speak to the mayor, and then ICE agents began shoving us outside of the facility. This is not how we entered the facility. We were escorted in by guards because we have a lawful oversight authority to be there, the New Jersey Democrat added. While in the detention facility, Baraka said DHS officials were very gracious and respectful. They treated me with respect and integrity. I have nothing but respect for those guys. But I was still uncomfortable, and it's a humiliating situation for me. It's important to note that the mayor has railed against President Trump's immigration crackdown and protested the opening of the ICE facility, contending that proper permits were not obtained. Remember when ICE Director Homan recently spoke at a conference for private contractors who were hoping to get lucrative government contracts to get rich off of ICE and what they're doing to our immigrants? Where he said he wanted private businesses contracting with ICE to run like Amazon, but instead of truck after truck delivering package after package, he wanted truck after truck delivering human beings to ICE detention facilities. And one of these corporations, the Geo Group Incorporated, got a multi-year contract from ICE to operate this detention facility in Newark. Baraka sued the security company last month, alleging that the corporation would not give city officials access to conduct inspections required under municipal ordinances and state code, and therefore was operating in violation of city and state law. It's important to understand that millions and millions of our taxpayer dollars are being funneled straight into the pockets of the men who run these private corporations that have been contracted to kidnap and detain immigrants. It's important to note that the Trump regime keeps using this talking point that the only people that they're housing in these detention facilities are violent migrants, including members of the MS-13 gang. Was that 16-year-old whose face y'all slammed into the ground and hauled off screaming? Was she a member of a violent gang? How about that mom with that 2-month-old baby? Tell me, were those people part of MS-13? About the thousands of children being kept in facilities around Texas? Are they also gang members? That's the update for now on the latest round of fascist shit that the Trump regime is trying to pull.